Palestinians are preparing for Ramadan in a somber mood with heightened security measures by Israeli police and the spectre of war and hunger in Gaza, overshadowing the normally festive Muslim holy month as talks to secure a ceasefire are stalled. Thousands of police have also been deployed around the narrow streets of the Old City in Jerusalem, where tens of thousands of worshippers expected every day at the Aqsa mosque compound. It's one of the holiest sites in Islam. Now, our correspondent in Jerusalem, Cadier, joins us. Alex, good afternoon at this hour. Thank you for joining us. Perhaps from your vantage point, you could paint that picture for us. What is the situation like on the ground as Muslim Palestinians are preparing for Ramadan?
Well, certainly speaking to Palestinians here in East Jerusalem, they are not marking Ramadan. They're not celebrating the holy month in the way that they would have done in previous years. Many of them say they're just too depressed by what's going on in Gaza, that this is just not a time for celebration. There's also a real uncertainty floating over this city, a real uncertainty, an element of fear, and really it feels like a city on edge. I walked just earlier today from Damascus Gate, which is one of the gates where you enter the old city, all the way to the entrance of the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, the Al-Aqsa Mosque behind me, just to see what the security measures were. And it was 3 or 4 checkpoints of very heavily armed Israeli police, border guards, checking people, checking bags. And so these checkpoints and any restrictions on worshippers accessing the mosque during the holy month could really be a flashpoint. In the Israeli authorities have said that Hamas wants to set this city on fire. They have encouraged Palestinians to come to flood Jerusalem, to come to the Al-Aqsa Mosque in their numbers, in part to protest, of course, Israeli actions in Gaza since October 7th. So it really does feel like a very tense time here in Jerusalem.
Alex, what about the flow of humanitarian aid, the movement thereof, the likelihood of a ceasefire anytime soon? I mean, what are those sentiments emerging at this hour?
Well, those conversations about a ceasefire, those negotiations over releasing Israeli hostages and a temporary ceasefire are intensifying. We know that Bill Burns, the director of the CIA, met with his Israeli counterpart, David Barnea, who's the head of the Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency. They met on Friday in Jordan to discuss the ongoing negotiations. We know that the mediating countries, Egypt, Qatar, the United States, are accelerating their efforts to try and get a ceasefire. Of course, because we know that today was the day that Israel said would be the deadline to reach a deal to release those more than 100 hostages still alive, still being held in inhuman conditions in Gaza, and a deal for a ceasefire as well. So really, that deadline is looming. The efforts are intensifying to reach a ceasefire, but so far no sign of that happening.